We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas Touch, and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix, and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job. Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Mase Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, SOUQ Enlightenment. In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress, welcome to SOUQ News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, SOUQ News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. SOUQ News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and SOUQ News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. SOUQ News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions. Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodu Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers, knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state captive.
Hello and welcome to SOUQ Pulse. My name is John Rogers Chooks, and I'm delighted to have you here today, being the second day of April 2024. Easter is come, Easter has gone. I will say to everyone that was out there showing some love and helping your neighbor, thank you. And to everyone that got help, remember, hey, it's not always going to be the same. Things will always shine up and will get better. So for wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, try, be strong, and believe that tomorrow will be better. And no matter what it is, everybody can help somebody. So on SOUQ Pulse, we'll tell ourselves some basic things, like for the first time, hey, don't stop talking. Don't be quiet. When you see things happening, affecting businesses, economies getting better, you see constructions that you never thought were going to happen happening, when you see government standing up and being up and doing on what they've been voted for, we talk. When we see airlines like Peace getting that particular approval and flying into London, we also get to talk. I don't know whether you want to talk positively or negatively, that is your business, but talk. When you see loans trying to cripple economies, it could be yours, it could be another man's, and you can't put your finger down and say this policy from the giver or the taker is affecting, talk. But when you see it act positively and things are getting better, also talk. When you see dollar coming down after everybody shouting that it has gone up and everybody is saying this, that, let us talk. Because when we refuse to talk, we become complacent when things go wrong. And they hear, everybody stands and everybody takes action. It's SOUQ Pulse, and today we are going to talk to ourselves. You watching me watching you, our guest in the studio, every other person around here. We are going to ask these questions. African leaders, African followers, this concern every one of us. We also have our guest in the studio. We are blessed to still have him here. He's still rooted and his feet are down in Nigeria, Lagos to be precise, so he's not going anywhere. So we are going on a break. When we get back, we'll introduce what we're talking about today, and when you see yourself in the mirror, like we say, repent. If you can't repent, then stop it. You can still be the sinner and just stop this particular set of sin. That's what we're going to. But for now, let's go on a break. SOUQ Pulse will be right back. Yes, welcome back. It's SOUQ Pulse. Today on SOUQ Pulse, we are looking at everybody in Africa. Now we are separating elected officials, leaders in specific places, be it government, civil service, be it in the military. We are separating them from the followers, from the citizens. Now we are drawing the divide and asking ourselves, now for we on this other side, we that are following, we that are citizens, it doesn't matter what your country is. It doesn't matter the anthem or national anthem you recite or the pledge you sign on to. Now we are asking this direct question. How do we deal with corrupt expectation from the followers? People are saying, Chooks, what they're talking about. Now we have elected officials, or that permanent secretary, or that minister, or that major general that is from your village, or your brother, your sister, or from your constituency. Yes, now you know where I'm going to. How do we deal with those particular corrupt expectations you have, your family member have, your states people have? Be it the senator from your constituency, those particular things that you know are not right, those things you call it right, that because it's from your place, he has to do this, or it's from your religion, or it's from your tribe, those particular corrupt tendencies, how do we start dealing with them? To talk about this today, we have Dr. Idahosa, live on SOUQ Pulse. He is still here in Nigeria, and he's not going anywhere for now. Sir, welcome to SOUQ Pulse.
Thank you for that abido shaker.
You're welcome, sir. Now, this is one particular topic. Everybody is righteous. When I say righteous, we're not just righteous, we are pious. Everyone looks up and says, government this, governor that, local government this, local government that. Then we forget that this particular set of people, from the president down to the councillor, was also a follower. He's from amongst us. Now we have elected them, civil servants also, directors also, military, top military men. Now those particular expectations, those things we think as being our right because they are from our place, we are not looking at the whole. How do we start dealing with them? Let me start with this before I open up the floor for our distinguished, learned guest. Sir, when a governor is elected or someone is given a ministerial post or the president comes in, the first thing you see on every single daily is congratulatory messages, full spread across Africa, even for communities that can't even remember the last time they saw the man, or his village people, his town hall people, youth meeting, secondary school association. Everybody taking and spending monies that can be used in developing their place. How can we start and tell ourselves these expectations, this practice is not right?
Well, I think sycophancy will be a kind of a cause that will sell very well in this part of the world, where you have people like in the Asian culture of the Jew that are hired to help cry for the bereaved. That is what you see in our climb. Because our cultural factors are a way of influencing some of the things that we do. So it is African and it is cultural to some extent that if your child is dancing very well, you know, everybody owns that child, and we all surround and dance with that child. So success is hugely celebrated in our culture. And I think this is part of the things that we also see that is transfer to the state, the civic public, as it were. So, yes, democracy is alien to us.
Democracy is alien
to Africans. And so by our culture, naturally, what you expect to see is that if a king, for example, in my community is being crowned and is being given a new title, the entire community come to pay homage
to the king.
To the king. They bring from their treasure and their wealth to come support the king to succeed. And now, you have democracy that is countercultural, where you have to come to love big people to help you in the office, into an office. So as you get into the office, these people are also having very high expectation. Do for me, I do for you.
So who is doing for, who is not doing for?
Yeah, this is the nature of...
Is it nature of democracy?
Democratic practice in Africa.
Okay.
This is the nature of the democratic practice in Africa. I don't know if I've said it in your show before. Peter Eke wrote a thesis some years ago where he talks about the theory of the two publics. The inability of most Africans to actually see the state as theirs is a fundamental problem that is here.
Okay. Inability of most Africans
to see the state as their own is the real problem we are dealing with here.
So what do they see as their own? Their community?
Yeah, so the distance between the state and the citizen, the gap is so wide that the public office tend to emasculate whoever become a political leader in the African continent. They are so guided and protected that if care is not taken, even their parents are denying access to them.
That because of the perks of the office or what the office come with?
Yes, I think that is because of the paraphernalia of that office.
Okay, now
so you have so much of security that you can't even greet the people you know anymore.
Who is the security protecting the man or lady from?
So this is a great question. So it is this distance, this perceived distance, that if somebody get into an office, and I remember some years ago, I was talking to my friends, and I said, oh, I just lost a sister. And everybody was commiserating with me and said, oh, sorry. And so I said, she didn't die. She didn't die. She just got a government appointment. And they said, she'll be very happy. I said, how will I be happy? Because I won't see her again. There's no access. It's denied.
Okay, now, we will get there. Access to, let me write it down, access to that elected person. Now, before we continue, let's now go far to the extreme. We just tried introducing the topic. Now, let's go far to the extreme. We've seen cases, let's take Nigeria, for example. Not just Nigeria, we've seen that happen in a lot of African countries, whereby an elected official or a high-placed government official, civil, military, in whatever form, commits a crime, specific, embezzle money, developmental money, monies or funds that should go to development of the community or the state or a particular agency. And we see the people in his community shield him. Not just shield him, they come out publicly and say, this is our son. After all, this has happened before. What did you do to the other people? Are we not ashamed of this?
No, I think that's the point that I'm making. What I was trying to emphasize, AK's thesis of the two publics. Now, most African people don't see government as theirs. It is alien to them. And therefore, it is an amoral public. So there's nothing bad, there's nothing wrong in that sphere. It's amorality. So you see now, a new language is used to describe it. So that's in which sense that Reverend Father Right, Honorable Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe once exclaimed that politics is not church. So you are not supposed to be talking about righteousness. You are not supposed to be talking about morality, because the domain is an amoral domain where what matters and what is critical is interest. Now, how we define this interest is what, of course, that is the subject of the debate. Is it the interest of the individual, or is it the interest of a group? As a student of political science, we are told about interest articulation and aggregation toward the formation of a political party. So when you don't have a well-developed political culture, where people naturally evolve to create a kind of portfolio of interest and aggregate it around certain ideology to drive governance, you find that it will be very difficult for people to be very, very loyal to such a system. So what you have is a situation where people bring incentive for people to join political party. Now, when you go to where democracy originated from, it's called the government of the people, by the people, and for the people, for a certain reason. Because the people mobilize their resources together, because they are aggregating around certain interests, which, of course, is common and unique to them. And then they are ready to fund this. And therefore, they know that once that government secures the office, the interest of that community is protected. So this is a concept of democracy. But here in Africa, our party culture is so undeveloped that some few elites come together and see how to aggregate people and then incentivize them in terms of giving them money, providing wrapper, salt and pepper. Now spaghetti and indomie has joined. So you put all of them together to attract following.
Question, how did you know these specific items, please?
Because we see them flying around every election cycle.
Okay. Okay, now let me believe you on that. Now let's go straight this way. We, aside shielding of people, specifically now, I'm talking about Nigeria. When a governor is elected, the first thing you get to hear is, what is he going to do for his people?
Yes.
Now, at times I get to ask, which people? Are you talking about his family members? Are you talking about his local government or his town? Then they now ask the one that is, okay, when there's a contest, the one that is there, the one that is coming in, they will now ask the one that was there, what did he do for his
people?
Who exactly are his people? The state he's meant to govern, or his local government, or his village where he is from? Do we have people elected to go and take care of your constituency, and every other person should wait till your time is up so they can get somebody else to come and take care of their own constituency? Is that what it's all about right now?
Yeah, but this is what we see happen on a daily basis, and this is why I say to you, some of all these issues that we're talking about, they are rooted in our culture. I am a proud Edo son. In my culture, they say to you, it is under your leg you dig your sand to put. You don't scatter it anywhere. It comes under your leg. Which means, to a very large extent, the definition for community for us is within our extended family circle, our immediate community. That's what it means. So you are seen to be representing that interest. And so everybody has a philosophy of putting this under their legs. So what that means in a nutshell is the fact that if I am in office, there's a high expectation from people around me that haven't come from among them. It is their turn to benefit from that strange purse.
Whose strange purse?
That's the purse of the state. I remember a friend told me some years ago when one man was made Minister of Education. He's late now, God bless his soul. And then his community gathered around in Lagos here and they told him that, well, congratulations, this is an Iroko tree. You only have opportunity to climb it once in a lifetime. When you are coming down, please bring down all the firewood that you will use to cook till you die.
They were not speaking in parables.
That's what you say. So this is what we're talking about. So it's seen as a huge Iroko tree that you may not have an opportunity to climb another time. Now that the opportunity is yours, all the firewood that you need to cook until you die, you have to get it down. And I remember that the attempt of that gentleman to bring down the firewood from the Iroko tree, he became a victim of the system. So somehow
the firewood killed him. Or he fell off the Iroko tree.
You see, that's the thing. So he fell off.
And the community was not there.
to help anymore. So this is a challenge. And this is why really for me, when issues of corruption are being debated, I really feel that as Africans, we need to find a way to really define the concept of the things that we regard as corruption and see how it fits into our cultural values and practices as against what is done elsewhere in the world. Now, but once you use one-size-fits-all approach to system, then there's a problem. Also, until we are able to actually get to a certain level of political evolution or development, where you have party naturally evolving. The first time Nigeria would have gotten to that certain level.
I'm not that old though.
So that's what he feels. So he set up the party that belonged to no people.
Okay.
And people came and aggregated around it. And then this ideology, which of course was trying to evolve from what we had in the early 60s, when we had the Action Group, and you had the NCNC, and later NPC. So those ideological foundation, conservative, liberal foundation for political evolution died natural death.
Okay. Now let's do this quick one. Do you think a political office holder or any government office holder is bound to do the bidding of his community, of his constituency?
Yeah, but you see, this is what it is. In representative governments, you actually represent a group of people. And that group of people...
Specifically, his close-knit constituency.
His family. So this breaks down. So where your first priority is where you come from, your immediate circle. So they have to benefit before other people within your constituency will benefit. Because at the end of the day, when this choice is being made, the people are saying, oh, it was the turn of that community to have produced somebody. Now it is this community turn. So it is this way of mixing up what politics should be or what democracy should represent that's actually at the foundation of these unwholesome expectations that we see from the people upon political leaders or appointees.
Now, let's look at the people again. Now, we don't get to see that productive expectation from the followers on the leaders. Everyone just waits for, what is he going to do? Okay, he's doing this. We are not directly or indirectly having that strong expectation that this person is going to get productive, or point fingers, or point hands, or give directions, or assist. We're just waiting for that draw out and drop.
SOUQ, you have not been in that terrain. I tried my hand in it before I ran away. And the other day I was sharing the same experience, and people say, why did you run away? And I said, I had to run. Because what I feel was supposed to be the goal and the reason why people should participate in public office was to see how to benefit or bring about the greatest happiness of the greatest majority of the people. In 1992, I went into NRC. And because I had somebody who was contesting for a chairman in my own local government, and we agreed and said, okay, we needed a primary school in our neighborhood to cater for out-of-school children in that area. And we said, oh, it was a deal. It was going to be done. So what we needed to do was to build more schools. And this guy said, well, if I win, I'll give you that opportunity. So he did win, to cut the long story short. And he did provide the school. Now, what I needed to deal with in my own family, amongst my uncle, was the fact that the school was brought by opposition party. And therefore, their children will not attend opposition party school.
Would they be teaching opposition party syllabus?
Now, this is a question. So this is where you really find that even politicians, they are crossroads in terms of dealing with the people. Because you are here and you say, oh, I was elected for the common good of everybody. And you're saying, oh, what am I going to do? The community needs water. And then the interest aggregator in that community, who is the political influencer, say, no, that's not what I need. My daughter is going to get married. I need more money for my daughter's wedding. And that takes priority over and above the communal interest, because they know that if this man go ahead to do the borehole, that influencer come around to tell the story on how this man has taken the money that belongs to everybody, and in the next election cycle, they will turn against him. So this is a problem that you find in the system. And this is where really I believe so much about what PPAK says about the civil and the primordial public, that there's so much allegiance to the primordial public as against the civil public, because for us, the civil public is strange. The civil public does not belong to us, it's alien to us, and therefore it is to be exploited.
Okay, we are going on a break. Don't go anywhere. At this particular point in time, don't worry, I'm still coming to some personal things. You get to see yourself. Is it not this mirror we're painting? No. Your own mirror you're looking at. Don't go anywhere. SOUQ Pulse will be right back after this break.
We've got just what you need right here at Femi Wash Media. Call it the Midas touch and you wouldn't be wrong. Let us record, produce, mix and master your audio like nobody does. Reach us on our contact today for the best quality job. In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress, welcome to SOUQ News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, SOUQ News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. SOUQ News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, SOUQ News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. SOUQ News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
Yes, welcome back. It's still SOUQ Pulse, and we are asking ourselves this direct question: how can we deal with the corrupt tendencies, expectations of followers, citizens on their leaders? Now let's bring it back very close. Election is coming, and what do we see? We see rice moving around. We see 100 naira, 500 naira, 1,000, 10,000 naira moving around, and we have people standing in, collecting, and stretching out, going all the way, be it clothes, be it food, be it whatever. Now I get to ask, if you collect this kind of things, handout, monies from these people, how can you stand and expect good leadership? How can you stand and ask that you should be served well? I just don't know what to say right now. They say it's poverty, they say whatever, but sir, can you contribute to this?
Well, I don't think it is poverty. And that's why I'm saying that most of the things that you're seeing, they're actually rooted in our culture. The culture that says to you that your brother cannot be on top of a fruit tree and you are eating the unripe. Now, this is the issue. It's not about how poor people are. It is just the fact that the concept of democracy is so alien to us as a people that we have not been able to embrace it in its whole entirety. This is the challenge. What we have to deal with here is the fact that if I, as a person, get into an office to serve the people, now the people should be able to place a demand on me as to say, in collective, this is what we need as a people. But you see, the perception of people differs. And this is where that you see politics is actually supposed to be organized around a particular set of interests that are aggregated. I give you another scenario that happened somewhere, I was told reliably. A certain local government chairman decided to put a borehole in the community because he felt that the women were suffering too much, going to fetch buckets of water in a stream that is far away from home. And little did he know that the women really enjoy that trip. So he brought the borehole to the community to serve these people. And then this borehole was compromised by the same community women. And when a little research was done, why they had to compromise the borehole, it was revealed that the coming of the borehole had denied the women the opportunity to socialize, which they do when they are going to the stream every morning.
Okay.
Now, this is where really we need to reconceptualize what politics should mean for us. That as a people, we need to go find out really what are the needs of people. What do they need? And it is in studying these needs of people that we can actually aggregate and see what kind of project that those people need. This is why you see when basic infrastructure are put in place, in places like our place, some people are not happy to see that infrastructure because to some or to a very large extent, that infrastructure may be impugning their very interests. So this is the challenge that the Africans had to deal with in terms of democracy. So the need for a fusion of our traditional practice with this modern democratic culture is very, very significant to the evolution of a political system in Africa.
Okay, now let's also look at, you mentioned earlier about the two systems whereby people have their allegiance majorly to their communities.
Yes.
Down
to the state.
To the state or the center. Is it possible for the state to get the citizens involved? Is it possible for there to be it a program, be it an orientation, be it whatever can be done to make the citizens or the people see themselves as an integral part of the state? Because if you can't have ownership or claim ownership or think you're part of this, then you're bound to abuse it.
Yeah, but this is the sense in which a lot of people talk about that, what they call it, periodic election, for example, is not the ultimate measure of democracy. Because democracy is a culture. You see, people see elections as democracy. That because people go out every 4 years, every 5 years, 3 years, depending on the electoral cycle, to go and vote, that these people are practicing democracy. But that is not what democracy is. Democracy is the freedom of people to express their opinions about what they feel they like and they don't like. And therefore, political parties are organized around those interests and those centers. Now, until parties evolve naturally, like social cultural groups, like club, you will not be able to see the real dividends of democracy. You see, if
parties have to be interest-based.
Oh, it has to be interest-based, and it has to evolve naturally. That people have to willfully or voluntarily decide to join a political association or the other. Now, if you don't get to that level, that's why you see, if you have sociocultural creation of the Igbo in Lagos, some people can decide to be there, some people may decide not to be there. But you see, when we now agree that, okay, as Igbo people or Edo people, we want this kind of an association, you will see high level of commitment. We don't just commit to it, we also commit our treasures and our money to see that association do well. We can even contribute money in Lagos to go do projects in the village. Because this is like a club that we willfully join it. Until we have parties evolve like this in Africa, where people are willing to support and push their interest, what we are talking about right now will be a far distance away.
But we have parties within communities, even parties within smaller communities, yet we still see that distance, that divide between the citizen and whoever gets elected. We still see that that trait whereby whoever gets elected at the end of the day is still not serving the community, but serving a micro part of the community.
Yeah, but
not in small communities.
No. See, that's what I'm saying to you. That party structure you see is alien to the community culture. It's not seen as part of the community.
Is it possible to transition party to community? Is there a way of making the community vote without the party system?
This is where we need the democratic culture to really be preached. So
voting is one man come cast. Who do you want to represent you?
Take for example.
Must there be parties?
Take for example. There have to be parties, because the whole idea of having parties is to be able to aggregate interests.
Okay.
Now, if you are not aggregating interests,
okay,
because the political party is like a gatekeeper that sifts the interest.
Gatekeeper of interest.
Yes, and harmonizes them into a one whole that look the same. Now, that's the function of political party, and that's why people talk about ideology, because the idea that people are having will bring them together in one common form and say, this is what we represent.
Okay.
So now what you find here is that you have party formed. Even though the parties are in the locality does not see the party as part of them. So it is transactional.
Because the parties themselves are alien to the society, or to the community, just like.
So this is what I'm saying. So what we need to do is to understand that democracy is a culture, and if we want to evolve that culture, it has to start by training and by teaching. Okay. You remember that even the last election cycle in Nigeria, for example, it was strange for me to hear, for example, from one of the very leading political presidential aspirants say, oh, we are all talking about the same thing. And that was strange to me as a student of politics. How can you be talking about the same thing?
Okay, before they start talking about the same thing that I know nothing about, let's ask this question. The political parties, is the political party more important than the citizens of the country? Elections have come, elections have gone. Should whoever is elected, be it from the world, the states, the president, should he be more focused on satisfying his political base or serving his community and his state?
Let me give you, for example, the model of democracy globally is the United States of America. When you look and read very closely the history of America and see electioneering in America, you don't see maybe a political party or a Democrat ruling for 12 years. Maximum you see is after 2 election cycles, the tide turns. You see that trend in the US. Why? Because those who are Republicans understand that they are representing the interests of the big businesses. Why those who belong to the Democrat represent the interest of the poor and the commoners. So you see this divide. You see that in Labour, in the UK, and the Conservative. So what the Democrat does is that once they come into power, they overtax the businesses to be able to make provision for the poor, which is the interest they represent. And when you do that for 1 year, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, the businesses are not able to breathe anymore. And you see them pulling mass together to see how to obtain it so that they can have tax holiday. So when the Republican comes into office, they will have to tone down the taxes on businesses so that business can survive. And you see them run that for another 8 years before another cycle of the state. So
this is favoring the people one way or the other.
Yeah, but what I'm saying
not
is that
just the party.
No, what I'm saying is that this is organized around certain interests.
Okay.
So the interest here is either the business, a big business, survive, or the poor and the commoners survive. So this is the natural evolution of political system in the US, for example, and even in the UK. So what I'm saying here in Nigeria, we don't have such aggregation. So what you have is what they call today all party in power. So you see somebody who's a businessman supporting the interests of somebody who is supposed to be pro-people. That's why you can see, for example, in the last election, a capitalist becoming the presidential candidate for a certain party that's supposed to be pro-worker and pro-poor. Because we have not been able to really sit down and understand how parties should run. Because for me, in the first place, in analyzing this is to say, how does your interest co-terminate with workers when you are not among the workers?
Okay. Now let's bring this closer. We are looking at the people, we're looking at the citizens, we're looking at the followers, and we are dropping it side by side. Your leaders, those in civil service, those in the military, whatever form of government that they occupy those leadership positions, and we are asking directly this simple question: why are we taxing these people? What are those corrupt tendencies that we have refused to drop? I'm putting this on them because most times you say the leaders are corrupt, but somebody somehow, somewhere, a community is pushing and getting these particular things done, and the table gets turned on that particular person. Now, for these parties, for we the followers, for we the people, we have seen over time, we keep pushing people for elections that are not qualified. We push the least qualified people. Those are majorly those going to run for elective positions in Africa. People, or those that are seemingly supposed to be qualified, those are seemingly supposed to be leaders, those are seemingly supposed to be educated and industrialists, whatever, shy away from going out there and participating. Why?
Now, you see, again, the concept of qualification is also very relative in African context. When you say somebody qualified, what's the yardstick for defining qualification here? Is it education status, or the wealth, or the ability to monopolize the instrument of violence? So these are issues that you need to also unravel. So when you're talking about
now, since you know all these bits directly and specifically, and you know that whoever has the ability to monopolize violence is not qualified in the first place. He shouldn't even be there in the first place.
No.
Whoever has the ability, or if it's all about the finance, if it's all about the money, should not be there in the first place. Now we have younger people, we have elder people, we have leaders in our community, in our different communities that we know, followers know, citizens know that these people will represent us well, but either because of money, or the violence issue, or ability to aggregate people, we don't get to push these people or follow them. But somebody that can grease an arm here or push a favor there is what and who we get to see push in Africa. Although things are changing right now, but that has been our history for a very long period of time. How can we turn this around?
Yeah, but you see, you cannot be talking about qualification. Because, like they say, in the elementary definition of politics, it is who gets what, when, and how. Or they call it the authoritative allocation of scarce resource. So it means that this resource is scarce, somebody had to allocate it. And the parameter for allocation is to see what kind of power do you wield. Because it's a struggle for power. And for you to be able to struggle for power, you must arm yourself, either militarily, which is violence, or you arm yourself financially, which is the economic power. Otherwise, you have to be a great influencer who can mass mobilize the masses to queue around you. Now, this is what should naturally be the evolution system within the party system. And this is what we're not seeing happen in Africa. So the point I'm making here is the fact that the structure itself and the way our politics is structured will determine on who qualifies. And this is why you see people have been advocating for equality or having to raise the percentage of women participation. But unfortunately, not many women can attend 3 a.m. meetings or 2 a.m. meetings in the night because this has been structured. And so while a lot of people are sleeping, some people are in the coven determining what is going to happen tomorrow. So by the time you wake up, a lot of things have changed. Now, this is the way it has been structured somehow, because these people have been able to have the means of determining what the people will say they want. So this is a problem. So democracy, ethics, morality should form the basis of our education. So that as children are passing through education, which is one of the fundamental things that is missing in Nigeria, fundamental thing missing in Nigeria are the educational system, that number one, we don't teach history. Number two, we make government, for example, elective. And number three, morality is not taught at all. Now, when these three elements are missing, then there's a problem. Now, you look at it, for example, they say, oh, because you are science-based, you are not supposed to know anything about government. Because you are science-based, you are not supposed to know anything about economics. Because you are science-based, you are not supposed to know anything about history. And that's fundamentally flawed in our education system. Because these three categories of courses determine the future of any nation. And if we don't put emphasis in training our people to understand what these things represent and what they stand for, to look at the symbol of state and how loyalties are attracted to this symbol, then you cannot evolve a political culture that people will not be doing this type of things which we are talking about this evening.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Dahosa. It's always firebrand having you here. And Trees, you don't give up. We will come campaign and vote for you at the right time. Thank you very much for coming on SOUQ Pulse.
When I have people who are like-minded, that believe that the nation is far above personal interest, I will be ready to wear the cap.
Okay, we will make that cap.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much to everyone that has been part of this particular project today. Remember, we say Africa has to get productive. We can't get productive if we can't hold our leaders responsible. We can't hold our leaders responsible if we ourselves are not responsible. So, hey, ask yourself that simple question. Am I really responsible? Did I collect something in the last election cycle and now my throat and tongue are tied? We'll do this again tomorrow. It's SOUQ Pulse. My name is SOUQ John Rogers SOUQ. Bye.